Hello, my name is Davis, and for this project, I interviewed both Todd Estes and Kirsten, who works for Merit Energy. I was unable to get a video of the meeting, and I did have a meeting with them, but it was like later in the year. I couldn't get in contact with them again, but I also did ask them all these questions. And I have all their answers written out. Um, but basically, I asked Todd, he works in public accounting, and I wanted to know more about that. So I asked him, like, what led you to pick Turner and Stone Company LLP over other firms? How did you get started in public accounting? What type of clients do you typically work with? What's Turner and Stone's firm's culture like? Do you focus more on tax or audit? What are some soft skills you think are essential for public accounting? Do you have any advice that might be beneficial to help me stand out when applying to an accounting firm? And when applying to a firm like yours, what should I like be doing? Um, he let me know that Turner and Stone Company is different because they have like a variety of clients. Like they work with like everyone, and they very much prioritize the people over like just the numbers or the income, which I liked a lot. I asked him how he got started in public accounting, and it was kind of just like how he ended up. Like he originally wasn't an accounting major, but then it led him down the path into public accounting, and he found it very enjoyable. He also likes that he gets to travel, which most accountants don't. So for his company, it's very different. What type of clients do you typically work for? He told me that he works with all different types of clients, and like even out of the country, he gets to meet the people he's worked with out of the country, which I thought was very interesting. Um, and then I asked him what his firm's culture is like, and he said very like friendly. Everyone kind of works as a team. If you need help, like anyone will be willing to help you. I also asked him like how the hours are, and he told me he's like during the busy tax season, it's like 60 hours a week to 70, and they said like it was really bad this time, and he said people were working 7 days a week, which I did not really like. But he does say they have unlimited PTO, but that's if it gets accepted. But he says as long as you get your work done, like unlimited PTO, which is sounds also beneficial. What do you focus on more, tax or audit? He's more in the tax area, which just means like when tax seasons go up, like he's very busy. Um, what are some soft skills? He told me that I need to have good communication, and I need to also be able to ask for help. Those are just some skills that are essential for public accounting, to not be afraid to ask for help, and then also be able to communicate my issues to better like benefit myself. Um, I asked him if he had any advice, and he was like, make sure to like join clubs, join organizations, do stuff outside of just school. It's like, okay. He also said try and get an internship, and then he also offered me, he said if I saw your resume, which I thought was very nice of him. I said, when applying to a firm like yours, what do I need to do? And he was like, make sure you have a solid resume, you have good skills, you have good clubs, and you have some like experience in public accounting. I was like, okay. Next, I talked to Kirsten, who works for Merit Energy. It's based in Dallas. It's like an oil and gas energy firm. I asked her, what does your role as a CPA look like within an oil and gas company like Merit? What are the most complex or unique accounting issues you deal with in an oil and gas company? How closely do you work with engineering and other teams? Do price fluctuations in natural gas affect your team in any way? Do you think my path in energy commerce would be helpful for this kind of company? And what got you into oil and gas side of accounting? I also asked, I'm trying to figure out whether I'd enjoy working on oil, gas, or public accounting. What do you think are the biggest pros and cons to the energy side? So number one, role in CPA, she does different like sections of companies. So she's not always working on the same task. And I found that very interesting because most accountants are just doing the same thing over and over. but she says her work like changes throughout the months, which I really liked. They also rotate people depending on what they like. Lots of exposure, and the company will move you to where you would work best. What are the most complex or unique issues you deal with? She said that um, she works. Unique issues is that they're not really working with like one on one, they're working with groups of properties, groups for properties. So she said that's like very different compared to public accounting, and it just takes some getting used to. How closely do you work with engineering, land, or other teams? Like I said, she works with groups for properties, so she's working very close with those people on those like with those companies, but not so much like people needing help with taxes. Like it's more like company based, but the people within the company rather than the people needing help with their taxes, if that makes sense. Um, do price fluctuations in gas affect your team? She said, not much, but it can slow business, which is expected. Um, do you think my path in, she told me that my path in energy commerce isn't super important for this. They said the company will teach you. So that kind of made me change my plan because I was a uh, energy commerce and accounting major, and I think I'm gonna switch from a major in accounting and switch to a minor in energy commerce since it's not as important. Um, from what it sounds like. Um, I also asked her what got you into the oil and gas, and she said she worked in public accounting for like a few years, and she hated the hours, hated the like how it worked, which I was like, okay, it must be the firm you work for, but I can see like the hours do line up with being a struggle. So, and she also said her company, you need to work in public for at least a year, maybe two. Not super fun. Um, and she said they have less work-life balance, and she feels like here you get more days off. Like you work 4 days a week, maybe three, and then you have like Monday and Friday that are remote. Um, and then I asked her what got her into oil and gas, and she just, it was a coincidence. She was working in public. She moved to Dallas, and she like was applying for positions, got this job, and she loves it. Um, and I said, I'm trying to figure out if I'd enjoy oil and gas or public accounting. What are the biggest pros and cons? And she said pros and cons, like you get to switch your task or switch your um, like what you're doing each month because you're working for groups, and the groups don't always need you to be working on the same thing. So you switch around. She also said the company will find a place for you no matter where it is. Like if you're doing okay at this, but you could be doing better at something else, they will move you to that, which I found very interesting. And she also said the flexibility was a lot better than public accounting. Overall, both Todd Estes and Kirsten were super helpful in like narrowing down my options between public and private, and I think their interviews were just overall amazing. Um, thank you.